What's up, Soul Family? Coming at you with another collective reading. This time, I'm going to be using our Mystic Medley Tarot, our Mystical Manga Tarot, and a couple of tea leaf fortune cards. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull some cards and jump right in. So I'll probably start by pulling 4 from each deck. 4 from Mystic, 4 from Mystical, and 4 from the tea leaves, and just channel a message kind of from there. So sorry, I should have actually... So I don't know if I've told this story before on the channel, but longest story short, there's a Simpsons episode where Lisa goes to a tarot reader, and she draws a card, the death card, and she freaks out, and the tarot reader's like, oh, well, the death card's not a bad card. And then she gets a card after that called the Happy Squirrel, and from there, she's like, oh my god, that card's horrible, though. So it's kind of been like an ongoing joke that some tarot decks put in, putting a happy and sad squirrel in the deck and kind of assigning it to be like a wild card. So whenever I see the sad squirrel pop up, to me it's kind of really similar to the Three of Swords energy, where it's kind of, you know, a little bit more straightforward. It's, you know, maybe some rough times, some grief, some heartbreak, some, you know, painful experiences that we're navigating through. So I usually take that one and put it to the side, but I kind of still keep it in conjunction with the rest of the reading. So we'll see what the rest of the cards come out are. The Four of Pentacles, Three of Cups, how many is that? The Hierophant, and then on the bottom of the deck we have the Four of Cups. I feel like this reading's already fairly straightforward, but let's go ahead and pull the rest. We have, funny, the Queen of Cups. That was actually at the bottom of the deck when I started shuffling. The Devil. The Two of Cups. And then on the bottom we have the Queen of Pentacles. So it already feels like there's a couple messages that are coming through for maybe different collectives, or maybe one collective in general that might be going through like a shared group of energies, but I guess we'll kind of find out. I'll take these 3. Dog barking. Oh, there's 4. Perfect. Gong. Ink pot. And fair woman. So gong is an exciting event. Problems to be resolved. Advice from a friend. And fair woman, dealings or relationships with a woman with blonde, gray, or white hair. Let me go ahead and sort these out, and I'll see if I can get this message going. Okay, I feel like I can get like 2 more tea leaf cards and put them in the top right. It seems like there's a little more space. We have feather. And leg. Stepping into a new experience. Interesting. Oh, and sorry, for feather, it is someone you know is undependable and insincere. So that kind of makes sense because we also have the Devil card popping out right there. So yeah, let's go ahead and see what's going on. So with the Devil and the Three of Cups energy, this could be pointing towards maybe a toxic friend group, one that you're kind of holding on to even though you're not exactly content with how the situation is or how you feel about them. Maybe you're holding on too tightly to these connections even though they're not like as deep as we'd like them to be, and they're not exactly, you know, the kindest people. So maybe there's that kind of situation. Maybe you're in a friend group in which there is, you know, most of the people that are kind of, you know, toxic in a certain way, but maybe outside of that friend group you have like one person who you feel really connected with, and one person who you actually see eye to eye with, and one person you're actually sincere with. So as a result, you know, you're maybe trying to get advice on trying to how to work with them or work with that group, with the dog barking advice from a friend part. Or maybe this friend is completely separate from this group or something along those lines. I feel like with advice from a friend, the Hierophant, and the Two of Cups, I feel like you might be really close to this individual who is giving you this advice. Maybe you see them somewhat as a mentor. Maybe they're a long-term friend who's on the outside or just in general who's able to really give objective and really grounded advice to deal with really toxic and difficult situations. So that's one of the first messages that I'm seeing, that you are able to kind of go to this friend and get their wisdom and get their counsel. Maybe this friend is a blonde person. Maybe this is about, somebody who has blonde, gray, or white hair. Or maybe it's about a group of people who are women who have this complexion. It seems as if it's a problem that's really on your mind and something that needs to be resolved. And maybe you've had a pattern of dealing with these kinds of individuals, or maybe a repeating pattern with these specific individuals. Or maybe there's some kind of pattern that keeps on getting repeated because you're sitting in discontent. You're allowing yourself to kind of be frustrated by these experiences, and you're holding on to them instead of letting them go properly. The Four of Cups, the sad squirrel, and the feather are all kind of pointing towards there being large levels of discontent with whatever situation, whatever experience that you're in. And maybe these are longer term friends that you don't necessarily want to let go of, and maybe that's what's causing all of this conflict internally. But either way, sometimes we do have to let go of these more toxic friendships or these things that don't serve us to allow the better things in. So then from there, I think the other message I could be seeing is maybe it's about a toxic partner with the Devil and the Two of Cups. And maybe as a result, you are actually having to go to, maybe there's like counseling that you're going to for this toxic partner, or maybe you guys have like a friend group that kind of serves like as a counsel. And maybe you guys are, dealing with people who are not that emotionally mature, people who are stuck in their ways, people who are incapable of breaking out of their more negative and toxic patterns and habits that's causing this more negative energy. So maybe it's causing all these problems, and maybe it's causing, this discontent within the connection that you have. Maybe their toxic pattern that they're stuck in is the fact that they are not dependable, the fact that they're not able to kind of be able to properly support you in the way that's needed. With the Queen of Cups, maybe the friend that you're going to, or whoever the Hierophant is, especially with the fair women, maybe the person that is helping you is a lady who is blonde or gray or has white hair, and maybe, they have this Queen of Cups energy, where they're very loving, they're very caring, they're very compassionate, they're able to kind of facilitate really good advice in a situation that many other people might be judging or might feel a little bit judgmental in, or, maybe in a situation that you might feel judged in, by judgmental people. So maybe the Queen of Cups energy, as well as the Queen of Pentacles energy, is pointing towards, somebody who's helping you, who is able to kind of be very nurturing, being very loving, being very caring, and still grounded and very practical in their response. They're still very wise in their approach, and they're still able to hold a proper amount of space for you. So if you feel like, there's this kind of individual in your life that you can trust, that, has this energy, then I think this could be confirmation that they are that, that energy in your life. Somebody who is very much so aligned with you, and somebody who is able to kind of help you through more difficult situations. Or maybe it's an entire friend group of people who are all able to hold space. Maybe all of you guys are able to kind of be there for each other and give each other advice. So I think there are two more messages, so this might go to a part 2. So maybe for somebody, they're heading into an era of prosperity and of financial stability. Maybe they're breaking free of these more negative patterns that they're stuck in, and they're able to kind of celebrate it. Maybe they're being able to kind of resolve whatever issues they've been stuck in, and we're kind of breaking out of the sad squirrel energy. And then last but not least, I think I see maybe you are in an era, or maybe you're about to kind of go out with a lot of friends. So maybe there's some kind of like big event that's coming up that you're about to celebrate. Maybe it could be something of a little bit more of a traditional nature. So maybe it's kind of like a cultural event in which you're kind of being able to experience this with. Maybe this event is allowing you to step into a new experience or a new paradigm or a new way of living. Maybe there's some kind of cultural or like religious event or some kind of like traditional experience that you guys are kind of going through. So maybe that has something to do with like family, friends, something along those lines that could be really big around this time or really important to you guys. Anywho, this is getting a little long, so I'm going to make a part 2. Part 2 isn't going to be that long, but I'll see you there. Welcome back, guys, to part 2. But let's jump right into it. So maybe this is a situation of friends and family members who are kind of, especially with the Devil and the Hierophant and the Three of Cups, maybe we are people who are trying to break free of these older traditions or these older ways of thinking or these older concepts that kind of like held us down. The Hierophant represents, maybe sometimes like religion or even the patriarchy or even just like older structures that have been set into place. And the Devil has a lot to do with feeling bound, feeling restricted, feeling kind of chained down. Sometimes, maybe you're kind of feeling helpless towards like these more what we deem to be like higher powers or powers that be it the government, be it maybe, us being oppressed by certain structures that we've experienced. So we're trying to break free of them. The Devil and the Hierophant could be representing us changing the way that we think and therefore becoming free from those bindings. Okay, I know I said this is the last one, but I promise this is like the last little thing that I see. Or maybe it's pointing towards, with the Hierophant, what I'm seeing here is maybe people are getting married, and maybe that is a celebration. Maybe that is the exciting event. Maybe we're actually celebrating a couple that actually kind of has, more traditional energies. And that could be found even within like gay couples, where there is kind of like somebody who represents a little bit more of the masculine and then feminine, and kind of like are playing under those archetypes. Maybe this reading in general is about, a couple who is comfortable with those roles in general, or maybe they're trying to break free from them and trying to figure out like what that means for them. But before I kind of go on, because there are definitely like a lot of things that I could be seeing like within, all of these cards, I'm gonna cut it there. Okay, I promise to God this is the last little thing that I'm gonna say. But with the Devil energy and the Four of Cups and the Sad Squirrel, and all the overall energies that we're experiencing, sometimes what's keeping us bound is our unwillingness to let go of these connections that no longer serve us. And we really have to stop and think, why are we holding on to something that is toxic, something that isn't good? And 9 out of 10 times when we assess the belief behind that, it's because we feel or we fear that we're incapable of getting something that is healthy or getting a better connection or getting something equal or getting something that fulfills us in some way, shape, and form. So many times the Devil energy is us being bound by these beliefs that aren't necessarily true and that we maybe need to sit down and assess so we can kind of stop repeating these negative cycles, especially if you have experiences of people doing you wrong consistently, especially after, they've shown you who they were and you allow them back into your life consistently. Sometimes we are unconditionally loving to a fault, and we need to be more unconditionally loving to ourselves and trust that we are cutting these people off, even if it hurts and causes us pain, for our betterment. So I promise to God, I know I said this like 5 times in this video, but that is the last thing that I'm going to say for this. Unless I get home and then, want to, add a couple other things, because I'm not going to upload this immediately. But either way, peace and blessings. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this resonated with somebody. Please let me know in the comments. The overall advice that I see consistent within all of the cards is to let things go and try your best not to repeat patterns that are kind of keeping you held back. Contemplate but don't sit stuck there. Really really while you are in that state of contemplation, figure out how to break free of these chains and figure out how to let go of the things that are no longer serving you. It's these things that happen in this physical realm can be really, really crappy, but the sooner we're able to release them and experience more positive things, the sooner we're kind of able to move on with our life. We all have to process the traumas that we go through, but at the very same time, we can't let them hold us back and not actually allow us to move forward with the experience that we're meant to have in this physical realm. But either way, I didn't want this to go on for too long, so I'm going to cut it from here. Peace and blessings, and I hope you guys have a great day.